Hello and welcome back to Boring Dead Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more Sovereign Syndicate. We're still playing as Clara Reed, but I think we've come over to try and swindle drunken Atticus over here out of his gambling winnings. Goodness, I think I recognise him. He's the typical London lush, but the Rose only rarely has minotaurs for clients, much less repeat ones. Though I can't remember what the devil his name is. Atlas, perhaps? No, Atticus. That's it. Atticus Daley. Okay, so we have an intellect, unlikely intellect thing. We have a slightly more, well, twice as likely intuition check, or just an intellect or a grace thing going on here. Let's take a 62. Unwisely, as it happens. Make no mistake, this man is stewed, which will make pinching from him all the easier. Okay. Grace. That's quite a whole sweet thing. How about we make it sweeter? A couple of drinks at the bar, just you and me? Huh? His dumbfounded expression is one for the books. I have to bite my tongue to keep myself from laughing.
Of course, anything the lady wants.
Just tell Clementine the drink is for Clara. She knows what I like.
Of course.
Off you pop. I promise I won't keep you waiting long.
Right. Cash me out then. Look at me. Quit while I'm ahead. First time for everything.
Hey, who knew a lummox like him could get so lucky? I can't remember if she was Irish or Scottish. I think she might have been Scottish, actually. Yeah, who knew a lummox like him could get so lucky? Indeed, it does seem peculiar. So I don't think there's anything there. I think we just go to the... Do we just go to the bar? So... It seems the whole borough is on the lash tonight. And this is my mark, drawing away with Clementine. Make the move. Well then, Atticus, how did you do up there? Apart from when you interrupted... Oh, sorry. How did I do up there? Apart from when you interrupted. He's still chatting with Clementine. I'd best speak clearly. He seems to have temporarily damaged his hearing with drink. Atticus Daley?
Yeah, excuse me?
Something wrong, Atticus? You look like you'd never seen me before.
Of course I do. We met, many times.
Now we're getting somewhere.
I didn't know you sang so beautifully.
Oh, thank you, Atticus. And this is coming from a man who must be well versed in myriad forms of entertainment.
Miri, is that your name? No, sorry, it's, Clara Reed, the chanteuse. Let's get you a drink, eh?
This is going to be even easier than I thought. Don't fash yourself. Let's have a drink upstairs instead. Fash is, I would have said that's more of a Scottish word, but we know she's definitely not Scottish. I think she's American, but we're doing an East End accent. His eyes light up like a gas lamp.
What are you saying, Miss Reed?
Mr. Daley, you've been to the Rose before, have you not? Perhaps you might join me somewhere more private and see where it leads us.
Well, do you still want a drink? I just remembered I promised you one.
I'm sure Clementine can set us up a bottle, what with your luck going the way it is. Right, Clem?
No doubt, Miss Reed. We aim to serve. Oh, that'll do, Clementine. Have us up a bottle of the finest beef eater on the shelf. I'll send it to room 4, but I'll let you hobble up there first, big timer. Aye, Clem. I've got words for you yet, but for now, it's time I got upstairs and made myself comfortable.
Clem levels me a reproachful look. Not exactly my place, but I hope you know what you're getting into, Clara. Me and Master Daley are friends, and you know, wouldn't want any harm done. Rest easy, Clem. A woman with my reputation must maintain it. Your business, I suppose. Velvet Rose, then, I guess. I think we've had this before, haven't we? Yeah. Private room 4. I wonder where that is. One of these? I guess it's upstairs. don't know which number 4 is. Cider bottle down there. Did I see that before? Can I go grab that? Nothing but a bottle of cider. No, apparently not. Alright, well I'm going to guess then that he's up t'other side of stairs. Oh, the one with the open the one with the open door and Atticus in it, I'm guessing, is the right one. Goodness, he looks a lot more sober than he did downstairs. I suppose it's true what they say. Minotaurs really can hold their liquor. Sorry, love. Didn't mean to keep you waiting.
Quite alright. My head was just really spinning. I wonder if we might just chat for a while.
Of course. Just give me a moment to get a bit more comfortable. Best to remove my weaponry before climbing into bed. Most of it at any rate. Normally I'd do this out of the side of the client, but tonight is nothing if not off the cuff. We've removed our derringer, apparently. My apologies, Dove.
It's perfectly fine.
Now then, I'll provide whatever insight I can.
I hope I can put it into words. There's this stubborn memory stuck way in the back of my head. And just when it seems about to finally surface, I end up here instead. Back in my old ways.
I know the feeling.
Perhaps I'm a born drifter. Not meant for the straight and narrow. Because even when my luck runs out, I never hit rock bottom.
Wonder what rock bottom looks like for him. What might it take to admit he's found himself there?
No use maundering about my past. I ought to throw all that away and embrace the moment. Think I heard that in a poem once.
Oh, you simply have an adventuring spirit, a soul taken to wandering.
It means I'm never quite sure of what I want.
Well, you're in good company there. This modern life's impossible to foretell, but we adapt or we die trying.
I'd be bluffing if I told you the easy way out hadn't crossed my mind. Maybe I just need an ear or a warm body next to me.
Well, whatever the problem is, setting it aside for a night is bound to clear your head.
I'm afraid I'd make poor company tonight. I'd prefer a conversation to a tumble in the sheets.
Well, whichever you'd prefer.
Might you indulge my curiosity? You ever had hornpipe?
Sex with a male minotaur hornpipe.
Beg pardon, what I mean is have you ever been with a minotaur?
Not a minotaur, no, but many fantastically unique people besides.
Does it frighten you?
Not at all, I'm a professional.
Ah, sure as sight, I can see that, as well as the next cove.
So, where do we go from here then?
Let's give it a go.
Well, whatever you like. His motions are shaky, unsure. He swoons and clutches at his head in regret.
Ugh.
The poor man must have been really through the ringer of late.
Sorry, but this isn't how I wanted this to go. But I'm in no right state tonight.
That's no trouble, really, and it's my job to provide comfort besides.
Thank you. You're quite kind, Miss Reed.
If the poor fellow only knew that I'm about to take him for all he's worth. Just lie back and I'll fetch the tea caddy. Chamomile. No need for the chamomile, he's already sound asleep. Poor Atticus. Easy come, easy go. Oh, I got his stolen winnings. How much did he have? I can't remember how much we had. They're probably just in a bag, are they not? Yeah. So we found, I think it was the last episode I found out that I can actually use this stuff to gain stuff. So you can see there. Ooh. Lose some hope, gain a black bile. Alright. Ah. Let's not eat the raw meat. She's got high hope, so don't need to worry too much about that. But we could maybe get a little boost off these perfumes. Have a little spritz of that. I'm sure combining perfumes is probably fine, right? Continue. Alright, yeah. Take some blood. Just casually throw back some laudanum. have some black bile. Might as well do another one. Why not? What do the cigarettes do again? 1 black bile. Probably not worth it for 1. Alright, so if I have a quick look at her stats again. So Grace, we're doing really well. Tact, we've leveled up. Intellect, we've added a bit as well. Intuition, we're doing alright? Yeah. It's very hopeful. Here's the dosh she won from the Palladium. Trifling easy to slip away now. Enough to pay Green Street off, though. Only barely. Set my gun back. Best not leave this behind. Alright, well. Atticus. Oh, do we leave out the window? The window latch is the only thing preventing my escape. Let's be on our way then. We can go back to... Here we go. As you scramble down the aged visage of the rose, you're careful not to miss your step. Across the window ledge, a drop in onto the jutting string course. What's a string course? And a short slide down the waterspout. Less than child's play and proper vestments, and narrowly possible tonight. Beggar's Lane is never entirely deserted, but it looks as close to empty now as you've ever seen. You should be grateful for the absence of onlookers, but the solemn stillness of the street only adds to your unease. There is so much riding on these next few steps, and a great reward should it all go to plan. Ariana. Clara, I'm glad you're here. Aria, what are you doing out here? Well, you see... Is that a horseshoe? Ariana turns red as she demurely shoves a horseshoe back into her dress pocket. Did you find Felipe? I did. We met up on the wharf. I had thought to return to work, but... Oh, Clara, so much has happened and all of it so quickly. And the horseshoe? It's because Felipe can't afford a horse. Not yet. I beg your pardon? He told me the latest fashion for distinguished gentlemen is to present a horse in lieu of a ring to their beloved. He said I deserve the finest mare, and this horseshoe is a promise to ensure just that. He asked me to marry him. Oh, where on earth did he get that idea? I thought you of all people would know. Philippe said the idea came from America. Just like me. Aria hands me a penny paper from her... Oh, this is intellect. Aria hands me a penny paper from her reticule. The dog-eared page contains the worst Spanish translation of N.P. Willis's The Upper Ten poem I've ever read. The text reads, a rule for the distinguished gentleman is first get a horse to get a wife. It is meant to read, a general rule for the distinguished gentleman is to first get a horse, then get a wife. Felipe claimed Mr. Willis is quite popular and respected across the pond. Is he wrong? No, he's right. In fact, I've read some of Nathaniel Willis's work myself. Really? Oh, good. Willis's work is quite popular, as a satirist. Does that mean you've accepted his peculiar proposal? I asked him to give me the night to think on it. So you're still unsure? Aria, that's not the best of signs. It's not that. I've made my decision. I have, or I think I have. But Felipe wants to leave London. Ariana is not London-born nor bred, though she has lived here much of her life. I imagine leaving is no small choice to make. The more I dwell on it, the more I want to go with him, to elope, though I asked for the night to decide in truth. Fair caveat, I would say. I'm trying to deal with one predicament at a time, and if I leave, at least I'll not need to make up the money I refused from Felipe. Officer Kipling cut my attempt earlier short. There were no clients when you returned to the Rose? There were, though not enough to cover what I owe. I'm sorry to hear that, Aria. What about you? You've seemed quieter than usual as of late. Let's evade the observation. I'm afraid I don't know what you mean. Oh, yes, of course. I suppose it would hardly be my business if you were... I'll miss you too, Aria. Oh, but I'm so excited too. Felipe said he'd pay for us both to quit London and travel. I suppose I should hope for the best. Felipe's got a good heart, at least. As for where, Felipe told me he wanted to wander for a time. India. Nidavellir. That's a mythological dwarven homeland. Oh, I've always wanted to visit Italy. Oh, that sounds lovely. I'm happy for you, Aria. Well then, I suppose this is goodbye. Wanderlust is one thing, Ariana, but you might consider an education someday. Oh yes, how I'd love to learn my letters right proper and read the classics. That's precisely why this is my fresh start. Off she goes into the early morning hour. If nothing else, she was a reliable confidant in a city that turned its back on me many times. Best of luck, Arya. So she's off. That's a completed task. I was worried she might not survive. But yeah, okay. Good. Glad she had a happy ending, so far, as we know. The unfortunate Poe Piggott hunches by the stairs to the Palladium, chin drooping, head heavy with gin soak. Mr. Pickett? Mr. Pickett, are you alright?
What's that? Dribble, drabble?
Poor fellow doesn't remember our prior meeting. Must be entirely soaked in gin. Can I help you somehow? Perhaps fetch some water?
Dribble, I said. Dribble. Another drivelling snob rat. Gonna pick my pockets while I'm sleeping off a swiller. Ha! We pick 'em then. Well, pick 'em then. Poe Piggott ain't got no jangling tin.
Well, I'm no pickpocket, at least not anymore. You should be able to see from the glad rags I'm wearing that I'm hardly dressed for thievery. Though to be fair, I did just rob someone.
Just another snob gone slumming then, is it? I can't remember his accent. Then if you're not here to rob Poe Piggott, what are you after?
Nothing more than a little conversation.
Well, you got a conversation for you. That is, if you don't have any snobbish sort of business at hand.
Why not? I've some time to spare.
Ah, I'm glad you said that. This is a good friend of mine.
He's gesturing unsteadily at the facade of the Palladium.
Go on then, talk to him, I said.
Not a soul in sight. Of all the useless rum-bums to spend my time on, at least this one doesn't mean any harm. I should be getting on now. Good evening, Mr. Pickett. Alright. So I'm just going to do a little stroll through the area, but we kind of... Yeah, we want to head to the wharf, don't we? So... Not doing anything. And up there... I could do it from the map, but we could do it here. Our trains aren't running now. The street just behind me should get to the wharf. Oh. Side alley. Nearly made it. If I take that side alley to Sorris Square, I can reach the wharf. £50 in diamonds underneath my tongue, or a sapphire necklace the lining of my petite coat, but never bills in my bullfrog days. What a stretch of luck I'm having. Speaking of which, I haven't had a moment to count the money. The bullfrogs used to warn us not to count our pay before we were safe at home. What's the harm in a little peek? £100, £150, 200 saints, that's a lot of money. Oh, Jemmy.
Mighty thanks for confirming.
Jemmy? Molly's right hand, the sort that doesn't care if his cleaver hits friend or foe when he starts swinging.
Guilty as charged. I thought my cover was blown when you started bobbing and weaving through the streets, but turns out you're just a shifty vixen by nature.
Does Molly know her attack dog's running loose?
Does your dear departed husband's kid know his black widow's taken up in London?
Oh. So he knows about the bounty. Has he come to collect? Perhaps I can get around him. My bad luck that I've not got the proper shoes for roof jumping, though I can still lose him in the back alleys.
I spied that glance away. You're really going to have me charge after you?
Even at a dead sprint is a long shot, and once I reach the wharf, the area's crawling with dockhounds to boot.
That money wasn't meant for you, Clara. Molly wanted Atticus to win, but he wasn't supposed to lose it to you. You threw a spanner in the plan.
Oh, why did Molly want Atticus to win? Weird. I should have known something was amiss. I've seldom seen the average London lush learn as much at the tables, let alone this small fortune. Molly must have needed Atticus indebted to her. Whatever she's cooking up, it starts with rigging the luck of a gambling drunk.
Oh, it's an ambitious plan, that's all I'd say. When she pulls this off, it'll shake up all of London. Now here's the rub. You stole that money, so I'm stealing it back.
There's nothing for it, I need him out of my way. Is this the best I can do? After this, Jimmy Betteridge, this pompous prick, is to be what takes me down. He's a minotaur. I don't think we're going to be able to do much damage to him either with a derringer or a stiletto. Let's rum. I flee. Behind me I hear hoofbeats on cobblestone. Jemmy is charging, eating up the distance between us like it's nothing at all. Till he has me by the arm. He raises his cleaver. The butt swings towards me and... Where? Oh. Jemmy, that pawn in Molly's blasted games. Awareness is slow coming, but soon enough I find myself blinking up into the caustic glare of London lamplight. I am alone in Beggar's Lane, and of course my stolen winnings are long gone. As is my hope of departing London tonight. I've made a bloody mess of it. What now? Where in the world's many hells do I go from here? We're all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. A twee sentimentalist notion. My mistake was in believing I was above these games. I am not. I could not even outmaneuver the simplest of Molly's schemes. And now I'm here, left to face the aftermath with only a headache to keep me company. I try to keep my consciousness, and time slips slowly by. For a time I'm content to simply sit and indulge in this wholly unearned self-pity. What now?
Would you like a hand, Miss Reed?
Have I any choice? You hurry me along, officer, lest I be written up for vagrancy.
I'm not a bobby, Miss Reed.
Well, bully for you.
In the interest of full disclosure, Miss Reed, I counted myself among the blue bands once. I left that life behind me, though, and these days I find myself working cases for a rather generous patron.
Not a mutton shunter, then, for all the good that does me.
It appears you've just been robbed.
How did you know?
Our good Mr. Daley was set up by Molly and her lot. They rigged his tables. They were to take the money off him when he left the bar. Also, I hazard that you would not be lingering in the gutter were your evening going well.
Molly again, eh? I should have spotted it sooner. So foolish of me.
On the contrary, you were just unlucky. Had Jemmy not been lurking about, you would have gotten the money to Green Street, and the dockhounds would be loath to take it out of Green Street's hide in the way they did with you.
Never underestimate Molly O'Malley. She must have posted someone outside the bar to wait for Atticus to keep tabs on the capital. And my leaving through the window wasn't enough to give them the slip. You knew where I intended to bring the tin?
Those that I work for had their suspicions. They surmised your intent to leave London.
I do not take kindly to being followed and spied upon.
Miss Reed, I'm here on specific business with you. I'm afraid I must ask you again. What do you know of the courtesan killer?
I know little more than I did before.
I came here to entreat your assistance, Miss Reed. My patron requests your aid in hunting the perpetrator down.
Why? Why all the horrors in this thrice damned world should I care about this one?
My employers have a vested interest in solving this case.
That's not an answer.
I'm afraid not.
Why do they care which of us streetwalkers lives and dies?
They wish to get involved because they wish for the murders to stop. Past that, I cannot pretend to guess my patron's motivation. Is that not enough? Alright, we'll do a 71.
There's more to it than that. The Cabal itself may care little for the killings. This man, on the other hand, his care is genuine enough, and he would see it stopped. What do they offer? Would they offer me, these generous patrons of yours, in return for my service? I never once worked for free, and I don't intend to start.
They pay well, very well. I do not exaggerate when I call them generous. Their patronage is what allows me to pursue my work as a gumshoe.
Capital. Oh, capital in and of itself would go away toward ensuring my continued safety.
They can also, of course, offer you protection, as well as their substantial resources towards the effort of solving this case. Entry to the crime scene, to the morgue, and access to any leads we have thus far.
You mentioned protection.
Aye.
From Molly and the rest of the underground? My patrons represent a host of private contractors who pursue various interests that align with their own. It may not be worth much to you, Miss Reed, but I personally believe their goals are just, or at the very least, often sensible. That tells me extraordinarily little about their character. My patrons would denounce you should you become too great a liability, but it would take more than past transgressions, petty theft, or illegal streetwalking to force their hand in such a way. Wealthy American families placed a bounty on my head. My patrons are aware of the Lancaster family's incentive as well as your history with them. They are prepared to dedicate themselves to your protection and deal with the Lancasters in whatever way most efficiently removes the problem. Well, I'll be damned, isn't that something? That is, good to know. The notion that my affairs might be known to this enigmatic organization is unsettling, to say the least. All right? All right? Yes, I'll work with you to find the courtesan killer. You have my aid till the butcher is dead or jailed. Or till the great pit itself opens to swallow up the Thames. This circumstance would seem less unthinkable with every passing year. I make no promises regarding the purchase of my services after the villain's put down. We shall see. I can't make any promises either. But if you're willing to dole out pay and protection, then my skills are yours. Lord knows I've gotten into bed with worse. Literally in some cases. I am pleased to hear that, Miss Reed. But now I would suggest you return to the bell jar and get some rest. Well, that's not a bad idea. And, begging your pardon, Miss Reed, but I believe you took quite a thrashing not long ago. It wouldn't do to have you concussed and reeling. A titch of strychnine... Strychnine? That's a poison, and a warm bed seems the best course for you. He's quite right. I'll send a missive round to the bell jar in the morning. Let you know if anything else comes up. Till then, Miss Reed. Till then. We're going to move on to someone else. I can resist everything except temptation. Atticus Daley is going to wake up in the Velvet Rose, his pocket somewhat lighter. So, the masked stranger isn't your run-of-the-mill nutter. On a visit to Sacred... Oh, it is third person. On a visit to Sacred Heart, you discovered your mother's maiden name, Hathaway, and confirmed that she's being held at Bethnal House, a hospital for the mentally infirm. And a chinwag with Clementine gave you a lead on accessing Bethnal. Alright, well this does pertain to current situation, so... When you reluctantly raise your eyelids against the leaden light of another day, you find your gaze resting upon a lump of spent candles. The formless wax tendrils are testament to long nights gone by. You took your rest in a four-poster, and the heavy blankets grab at you like strong but gentle hands, insisting you return to sleep. The room is warm and musty, but nicely decorated, with heavy drapery on all sides and beveled glass in the window to block any prying eyes from the street below. Whatever transpired between you and Miss Reed has faded to little more than a dim dream, but your performance at the gaming table returns with crystalline clarity. What a banger that was! Your spirits rise and you abruptly sit up, only to find the bells of St. Clement's thundering inside your skull. But the promise of fat pockets and easy living, at least for a while, tempers the punishing hangover. With renewed purpose, you rise slowly to your feet. Awake now, awake! A new day calls, and you must answer, however much it chafes you. If you continue on this road of drinking and dice, well, you've seen where it ends.
What in the blazes is that infernal racket? Sounds like someone dragging an anvil across a brick road. No, it's nothing, just my hangover. But then again, didn't I hear screams in the night? Or was it a nightmare? The kettle drum in my head feels like the result of a pint of absinthe. I thought I gave up ages ago. No telling what mix of alcoholic concoctions went down my gullet, but at least I'm alive. Anyway, my luck's finally changed. Thanks to my brilliant turn at the tables last night, I can at last square my debts with Molly. Haha. No. Oh, what's this cursed nonsense? Where is my blasted winnings? Another dawn, another disappointment. I was robbed in the night. No one steals from Atticus Daley. Oh, he's fully hopeful. I better clear my head before I try to recover my wealth. Hark! Is that a rumble in the pipes or that scraping noise again? At this time of day, the Velvet Rose should be quiet as church. Sounds like it's coming from the next room. Perhaps a thief's still on the premises. I should investigate.
Oh, who's that?
Bugger all is a sight to blast even my jaded senses. The hump of a cadaver in a sprawling pool of blood. For one shudder instant, I fear that the body is Clara Reed, but no, it's someone else, as she's bathed in red, a darker red than the floor and walls. That creeping murder who's been at large in London must have struck again, just a few steps from where I was sleeping. Oh, there's an unmistakable scent of bergamot in the air, and the furniture is in disarray. That explains the scraping noise I heard earlier.
Alright, let's look at the marks on the floor.
The chiffonier was dragged across the floor to where it stands. That explains the scraping sound which woke me before. No question, this blood-soaked body is very dead. It's Beatrix. I never spent the night with her, but I remember her face. A beauty torn and lifted from this earth, another dolly killed in cold blood. But in their own brothel, supposedly safe haven. No one deserves to die like this. Bloody crow. If only I were a trained detective, then I'd have sure to get to the bottom of this terrible business with alacrity. I'll do what I can, but I can't be sure I'm the hero of this particular tragedy. Oh, this is all too much. I need to leave this place. Two lofty stories from here to the hard cobbles below. Could it have been a cat burglar? Or perhaps something with a natural climbing ability.
Okay, I guess. Alright, we got a good wit. Puzzle on the crime scene.
Taking the whole scene into account, it strikes me that a few items were knocked over, as if in the result of a struggle. And the chiffonier was dragged from its usual place. Could the room's disarray have been staged for some reason?
Madame Zora's there. Probably should speak to her. You, what are you doing slinking around up there?
You've undoubtedly heard about the courtesan killer. I'm sorry to report that he's struck again. They're in the room at the top of the stairs.
What are you trying to say?
This girl lied dead upstairs, and judging by the scene, it looks like the work of the courtesan killer.
Saints above, this is troubling indeed. When word gets out, we could be ruined. I'll let the girls know. We'll have to close our doors.
Do you know anything that might point it to the killer?
I believe I do. In fact, and I'll tell you for nothing. It's a werewolf or some other deviant behind all this carnage. What else could it be?
Interesting. Do explain.
Well, you've seen the newspaper reports, no doubt, and now you've seen it with your own eyes. What sort of a creature could do such a thing?
But those with lycanthropy are only dangerous during the full moon.
Perhaps, but a partial transformation is not unheard of, or even full change in the immediate days that follow and precede the full moon.
The madam certainly seems to know more about the matter than me.
Regardless, with the trauma induced by each transformation, one's noble restraint gets gradually looser.
Body upstairs was certainly torn to shreds, as if the poor dolly was clawed to death. Excuse me, but why are you muttering under your breath?
I haven't the slightest, what was that?
Are you tallying sums in your head right now? A woman was slaughtered, not 20 yards from where we're standing, and not long ago neither.
Well, didn't you wake up high and mighty this morning? I'm running a business here, sir, and who are you? Just another John wandered in off the street? This is a job, and my girls rely upon it to pay their way.
Perhaps so, though it still seems unduly callous to me. And I have to tell you, I've been robbed, right here in your fine establishment. Last night I was flush with capital, but I woke up a pauper.
I don't know anything about that, except that it was probably the dolly you were with who robbed you. Anyway, what sort of a dullard falls asleep in a bordello?
Perhaps. Perhaps I shouldn't have trusted Miss Reed, but I was overcome with such fatigue that I couldn't help but fall asleep. Now I must tend to my own troubles, madam. I'll leave this shambles in your capable hands.
Run along, bullman. Whatever business you had here is finished. Let's have a look at our journal then. Oh yeah, we were going to put that bet we put on. The courtesan killer. Find someone who witnessed one of the killings. Collecting gin. Poe said it was stolen by a seagoing chap. Yeah, I think we failed that one because we failed the check. Missing orphans. Talk to Molly, maybe. Right, well, maybe we speak to Clem on our way out? Atticus, look at the state of you.
Be less the old bon of me than I'd hoped for.
Report the murder.
There's been a murder upstairs and the body's a pile of bloody carpet rags. Might mean the handiwork of the courtesan killer, so-called. I thought you should know. That's got a rattle. Don't know if I've ever seen Clem that way.
Upstairs, right under our very noses? Who? Who was it, Atticus?
It was Beatrix, I believe.
Oh, bloody hell. She might have been a bit of a diva, but no one deserves to go out like that.
I didn't know her well, but I know she was quite popular around here.
Aye, killer must have been bold as brass to strike in the middle of the rows. It's going to be hell to pay.
Whatever she says, Clem clearly cares about the girls that work here.
Last, all I've got to say is that loon better steer clear of Clementine. He tries something like this again, I'll stick a shiv so far up his guts he can pick his teeth with it.
I like that. Clem, I was cleaned out.
Crikey, you're a gnat for getting into trouble. Do you at least know who ran off with your reddies?
After my night upstairs with Clara Reed, I woke up skinned. Every last farthing and one at the tables is gone. I've no idea what it's about.
Still behaving like some young pup from the counties, then. Can't believe Miss Clara would have done it, though I've been wrong before. There's a reason gentlemen don't hang around here after hours.
Certain it was Clara Reed who robbed me. The question is why.
Now what about this long-lost mother of yourn? Penny's put her job at risk asking around on your behalf.
You're right, tracking down Matilda is more important than the money.
Penny and I aim to help you if we can, but like I said, we can't make any promises.
About good old Penny, didn't you say she was coming round?
Penny couldn't make it, but I did hear from her. She said that her boss, Dr. Clancy Wainwright, knows more about the patients at Bethnal House, names and identities and such. That's the man you want, but she wasn't sure where to find him on his off day.
Just what I need, more hoofing it around town.
She said you might check Nandy's shop in Souris Square. Apparently Dr. Wainwright's been consulting Nandy for a secret project.
Oh, thanks for that.
Listen, mate, I hate to kick a minotaur when he's down, but you've got to be on your way. Man with as many enemies as you have, of the type you have, that kind of puts people around him in danger.
Of course I respect you as I respect this establishment, even if I've been thoroughly put out here as of late.
Quit your griping, Daley, it's unbecoming of a minotaur.
Clem, I'm having a real rough time of it. The roughest, in fact. How about a drink, eh?
Let me guess you'd rather not pay for it. Don't get me started on the bill you ran up last night.
Well, I'm sure it'd be prudent to watch my spending after being robbed.
Oh, you've mentioned that, but listen, love, I can't prop you up anymore. The days of your drinking tab are finished. It's already the stuff of legend. I warrant a drink's the last thing you need.
I better get about my business. Watch out for yourself.
Here's hoping to see you on better footing, Mr. Daley. Till next time. Right, how much money do we have? Oh no, she didn't completely clean us out. We've got 13 shillings. Have I got anything in here that would perk me up at all? Oh, yeah, we get some blood. Don't need the hope. I think he's on 100. Likewise. But this, because an achievement pinged after I got this, and I saw it after the fact, and I don't think I've played Atticus since I got it. It's actually it's a funny joke. It's a loot box, you know. It was a microtransaction for a loot box to get a box full of cosmetic doodads. Utterly useless. It's a joke about loot boxes. I can't believe I didn't pick up on that at the time. It was only when I saw the text on the achievement that pinged in Steam that I realised.
Molly's ward healer and a debt collector is waiting for me with a vinegary look on his gob. Old Jemmy's a hardened bruiser. I hope for my sake he's not here about my debt to Molly. It all started with a bad string of bets on rat baiting, a few bare-knuckle brawls I narrowly lost.
Are unlikely to soften him up.
Get over with. Best to get over with. I wouldn't make it as far as the street if I tried to run.
For Christ's sake, are you done gawking at me yet? Mistress Molly sent me to offer you a favour. She has generously arranged for you to work off some of your outstanding debt.
His wooden falsies make his breath damp and rotten, like a beetle-infested log. His eyes shine a toxic yellow from pits as dark as the tar-black hair splitting his forehead in a widow's peak. Believe me, I was ready to pay my debts in full, but now it seems that I've seen my slice of luck. I was robbed last night at the Velvet Rose. The brutal hireling takes a short breath in imitation of surprise. However, I've no doubt someone with your connections could find the brigand and then we'd be all square.
Listen to me, Cully. I'll clear this up for you right now. Clara Reed is the thief in question. She's a dolly, ain't she? She's after one thing only. Consider last night a reminder of that.
Very well. Since you haven't cut me in half yet, I assume you're going to tell me how I can make this right.
First smart thing you've said today. Go talk to Molly at the tavern, and I suggest you clean the wax out of your ears first. She wants to give you this assignment personally.
Alright. Yeah, let's go. Oh, that was chapter 8, was it? That's very quick. Experience is simply the name we give our mistakes. We're back to Clara. I haven't played Teddy for a little while. Royal Suite. Your performance at the Palladium was interrupted by Atticus Daley. Yeah, a minotaur who was in his cups as well as in the chips. After a heart-to-heart in the Velvet Rose, you relieved him of his winnings, only to lose the money after getting bushwhacked by Molly's chief goon, Jemmy. Just before dawn, Eve gave you his take on the killer's latest victim. I think we've read this before. Nothing like a good rest after a night of disappointment. Mr. Chalamet Duval's promised missive seems to have arrived. Did Suri slip the letter beneath my door? Perhaps one of Eve's mystery colleagues is to blame. No point putting it off, I suppose. Miss Clara Reed, please hasten to the Velvet Rose at your first earliest convenience. It is with deepest regrets and condolences that I must inform you of the passing of one Beatrix Aguirre, sometime after midnight last evening. Signs indicate that the death is connected to the work of the courtesan killer. Respectfully, I would urge you to consider what we spoke of last night. My employers greatly desire your presence at the Rose, as well as your assistance inspecting the body. Please do not delay. My sympathies for the loss of your peer. Yours, Eve Chalamet Duval. The passing of Beatrix Aguirre, Beatrix, God's wounds, I spoke to her just last evening. Oh no! The friggin' bastards. I need no reminder of my situation. I'll make my way to the Rose then. I'm embroiled in this, whether I like it or not. I think I've probably seen everything here. So why don't we just leave? Maybe talk to Suri on our way out. Who's this? What's Iron Bear doing here? It's rare to see him without Tenor nearby. Iron Bear, good morning. What brings you here today? I thought Tenor didn't require my services until this evening.
That is correct. However, with the events of the night previous, Cunningham thought my services as a bodyguard might be more useful elsewhere.
Egad, has word spread so quickly? Is London? Of course it has. Tenor can be overbearing. I'm lucky this is all he did. I'm not sure who Tenor is. Convince Iron Bear you didn't need a minder. Probably fail this. Oh no. We just got over. While I appreciate your concern, I must stress that the events of last night shall not be repeated. Please convey my greetings to Tenor and assure him I will see him this evening.
It's good to see you are well.
He's not leaving. Did Tenor require that you remain glued to my side?
He failed to specify.
Well, in that case, I've things I must do today, and I'm certain you do as well.
Cunningham is concerned for your well-being.
Oh, if I didn't know any better, I'd say he included himself in that. Look, since I'm sure you have better things to do than follow me around, what if we agree to meet later at the tavern?
I believe that could be arranged.
Well, thanks, Iron Bear. Truly.
Good day, Miss Reed.
Oh, my kingdom for some respite from all this. Alright, let's go maybe have a quick chat with Suri. Hello again. You keep up the news, Suri. I don't suppose you recorded any strange visitors last month. This about the girl? Hannah, was it? One who turned up dead last month? You remember her? Of course I do. Poor dear, she was staying with us in one of the less fancy rooms for a spell. Did she have any visitors the night of the murder? Specifically, I'm afraid not. Plenty of people in and out that night though. Damn. I believe she was killed in the hotel itself. What, really? Oh, saints, that's a chilling thought. Apparently some residents heard quite a scuffle the night of the murder. I suppose it's possible. The poor dear, I've no idea. What happened to her personal effects after the crime? Well, the bobbies took most of it after the fact, except for a few bits and bobs. Suri produces a worn hairbrush with a carved ivory handle from a drawer set within the reception desk. This was hers. Might be a titch morbid, but I've been using it myself, truth be told. It's yours if you'd like, if you need it for evidence or some such. You were using a dead woman's hairbrush? Suri shifts uncomfortably. Well, it's not like she was using it, was she? I couldn't let it go to waste. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Suri blushes, high and fierce. Oh, like you're any better! Better to change the subject, though I'm glad the brush is in my possession now. If I have any further questions, I'll be back. Of course, Miss Reed, I'll be here. How much money do we have? Yeah, we still got our amount of money. Okay. So what have we got in our journal still? Only two things, the courtesan killer and fan collector. So, not much to do then, apart from to go to the Velvet Rose, I suppose. I don't think there's any purpose kind of going back to the shops and stuff. I think we just go straight there, perhaps. Yes. Beggar's Lane. Alright, well let's, I think we just go straight to the crime scene, probably. We could look around here, but... It's be same old, same old. Let's go up. The plush carpet underfoot is now uncomfortably reminiscent of spilled blood. Is it your imagination that a sense of violent death taints the air? That it's much colder in here than usual? You've never given much credit to stories about spirits lingering near the site of their deaths. The victim was a friend who worked the Rose alongside you. You wonder if she suffered. You wonder who could be responsible. Steel yourself. The truth is but a few moments away. Intriguing. No, we want to be on this side. The air in this room is stifling. It's that solid sense of dread that you only find next to a corpse. Quite different from simply reading about the courtesan killer in the papers. Every problem seems inconsequential until it's at your doorstep. Beatrix, we may have had our spats, but you didn't deserve this. Would it be pertinent to look around the room or to inspect the body first? The same oh, okay, there is quite a bit in here. Let's look at claw marks. The rake and spacing of these claws does seem oddly uniform. How does the old saying go? Symmetry is rarely found in nature. On the contrary, symmetry can be found in nature often, if memories of my college days serve me. A twee saying, really. The concentration of blood suggests that the struggle began on the bed and proceeded until she hadn't the energy to continue. Okay, well, let's look at the body now. Her lifeless and torn-up body lies mouldering on the brothel floor. By the saints, it's all the more haunting up close. Poor Beatrix. Where should I start first? Inspect the body. Right, decent-ish intuition. Let's give it a go at least. Nope. There are many gaping and ragged wounds across her entire body. She's been thoroughly brutalized as if she were torn apart. Blasted be the monster who did this. Oh, we'll try intuition again, shall we? High number, please. 1 off. There's a spattering of blood across nearly the entire room, though it seems most concentrated on the bed and in the area where the body now lies. The concentration of blood suggests that the struggle began on the bed and proceeded until she hadn't the energy to continue. We'll try another intuition check. We got rid of the low numbers, so... There we go, we've passed one. The torso of the deceased has been sliced open around the stomach and into the chest cavity. It's grim and gruesome work to sort through. Within the cavity of her flesh and bone, her organs form a disorderly chorus of reds, purples and browns. I recognise a few, and yet others are curiously absent. Her heart's missing, as is her liver. I think other organs might be missing besides. Right, we've got 50-50 on an intellect. Let's have a look. Ah, we passed. Just about. As you comb through the viscera, it occurs to you that there are either no bite marks upon the organs, or else all that is left of them is a sloppy, putrid mess of pierced or torn flesh. There are no half organs either, nothing ripped apart or partly devoured. If this was truly an animal attack, why were some organs devoured wholesale and others left completely alone? It's all far too clean. Let's have another look at the puncture marks. Oh no! Crit fail. The multitude of puncture wounds across her body seem to have one thing in common. They are, generally speaking, uniform, as if they were created by the same weapon. Whatever created them passed in and out of the flesh cleanly with purpose. The puncture wounds, the shape of the injury, even the fight and the torn-up corpse suggest that this was an attack carried out by tooth and claw. There's something off about the nature of the bites. Blasted all down the sticks and back. I can't put my finger on it. Nothing more to be done. Let's have a look at the pocket watch. The pocket watch looks rather familiar. Have I seen it before? The interior of the cover is engraved with a decorative image of a bird in flight. There appears to be a significant scratch marring the image. I'll hold on to this and see if I can't inquire after its owner. Maybe Aunt Selina over at the curio shop could enlighten me. Now look at her comb. Beatrix's golden hair comb. She claimed it was a family tradition for the mother to gift one to the daughter after her first client, crowning her a proper worker, a member of the oldest profession, as it were. The only time it left her head was when she'd polish it, and then stash it under her pillow before bed. Put it back in her hair. This is a kindness I should grant Beatrix. She never parted with it in life, and nor should she in death. Oh, look at the window. One or two places the killer could have entered the room, the other being the door, of course. I run my fingers along the wood grain near the hinges, feeling for any splintering. If the killer entered this way, it appears they didn't force the window open. So they perhaps escaped there, but didn't enter that way. So you've got to say. Before we start, I thought I might let you know the prevailing theory, now that you've had the opportunity to inspect the room for yourself. Let's hear it then. The authorities believe that this crime was not committed by self-possessed hands. Specifically, they're working under the assumption that this killing was committed by a lycanthrope, given this, as well as the last killing's proximity to the full moon. And what do you believe? Suffice to say, there are many aspects of this case that do not make sense to me. Indeed, there are cracks in that conclusion. Least of all that last night was not the full moon proper. Some werewolves have been known to lose their heads in the days preceding it, but it is far from a universal affliction. I would do my best to reserve my judgment, and for that matter consider how much I'm willing to share with my friend here. But sharing our findings will be mutually beneficial to us both, insofar as understanding this case goes. That being said, it is hard to trust this unknown man, let alone his shadowy backers. So, Miss Reed, you've seen the body. Anything you'd like to share? There was a watch among the things in the room. I wondered if I might take it and attempt to identify its origin myself. That is fine with me. I'll make sure the proper authorities know where the item has gone. Nasty work, though hardly my first time seeing a dead body up close. Care to expand on that, mademoiselle? Too numerous to remember every instance. Saints, that's a rather alarming notion now I think on it. Perhaps another time, Detective. Eve still has a ways to go to earn my trust. Thus far he does not seem particularly untrustworthy, at least. The whole scene was unusually gruesome, an horrific tableau. The state of her organs, some were missing. Her heart and liver are missing. There may be additional organs missing as well, though I'm no physician.
A similar situation occurred with the other victims. He strokes his chin for a moment. Were there any further details you noticed?
There was little sign of ingestion of the organs. There are no partial organs. Her heart and liver, at least, were missing wholesale. Every organ was either damaged or nearly beyond recognition, though present, or left alone entirely. Were this an animal attack, one might expect some sign of feeding or of partial consumption.
You're quite right, if it was not an animal.
Eve does not look shaken. His composure suggests that these doubts had already crossed his mind.
Well, was there anything else of note?
Well, those are the details that struck me as particularly strange. I found a considerable amount of evidence which he did not.
Leave it be.
I hope the information I found will prove useful. His mouth twitches for a moment, as if he was anticipating the need to retort.
Ah yes, I expect it will. I must say, Miss Reed, I am impressed with your observational skills. You may have missed your calling as a private detective.
Of all the many roles I've played throughout my life, police special is not one I ever considered.
We've made good progress here, Miss Reed. Let me know if there's anything else.
Certainly.
One more thing, I generally refrain from dealing directly with them, but the dockhounds have eyes and ears all over London. Molly O'Malley may be privy to some details regarding the perpetrator's true identity and whereabouts.
Molly O'Malley? Wonderful.
By the by, Miss Reed, I would like to fill you in on what we know of the other victims. It's important you know what we're walking into.
All right, what should I know?
What would you like to discuss first?
What would you pin as the first incident of this case? Can you tell me anything about the victim?
The first reported victim was a washerwoman by the name of Rachel Nichols.
I recall hearing of her death. The papers claim she was streetwalking when it occurred, though I'd never encountered her in any circles that I'm privy to.
Indeed, Miss Nichols had her issues with gin and was sleeping rough outside of some shop or public house the night of her death, surrounded by a tidy collection of Jonathan Silver gin.
The self-same gin I received from Glenn Forrester. Must be a favourite of his as well.
Though I found no indication she ever worked as a dolly, let alone on that particular evening.
Yet the papers reported as much. I can't say I'm surprised.
Her body was found several months past, at the height of summer.
I sense a but coming.
However, I'm given to believe that there was an incident that predated even hers. Gwen Saini, whose body washed up from the Thames some 2 months prior to Miss Nichols.
Gwen Saini. I believe I might have a connection to Miss Saini. Ariana spoke of her just last evening. A fellow seamstress from her early years, if memory serves. Ariana was quite concerned about the circumstances of her death.
That is fortuitous for us. We should track this woman down and question her on what she may have learned of Miss Saini's death.
Now, that'd be quite difficult, I'm afraid. Ariana Luttrell eloped with her lover sometime last night. I've no idea where she is now, but it will take some doing to find her in a timely manner.
That's so. All the same, I shall expend my resources to locate her. In the meantime, there are other leads we should follow.
Ariana said Gwen was raised in Bruslavia. Given our suspicions regarding lycanthropes, that information feels particularly relevant.
Indeed, that is quite the break. Well done, Miss Reed.
Fantastic work. We'll have to keep it in mind moving forward. Certainly. It's a lot to take in. Have you heard about any other killings of this type that were not reported on?
Well, as you know, this woman was not the first victim of this particular modus operandi.
He chose his phrasing carefully there.
To answer your question, neither the crime scene nor the particulars of the victim are unique. They follow an obvious pattern, of course, that which popular consciousness is privy to, and other similarities besides. I know these atrocities were particularly gruesome, but it would seem many particulars of the case have been left out of public knowledge. There were similar incidents that, for one reason or another, have not been taken up by the press. Tragically, even accounting for them, there is little go-off in terms of identifying a suspect.
Little, but not nothing.
Indeed, we have already spoken of Casey Logri, if memory serves, the dolly mop who was found with medicine from Gordon Gray in his possession.
Oh yeah, male prostitute. Any news on that front?
I have already been to Mr. Gray's shop in Sorris Square and spoken to him, but I found nothing of consequence. I did, however, have the suspicion that he may not have been entirely forthcoming. Perhaps you may succeed where I did not.
Yeah, I'll pay him a visit as soon as I've got the chance.
Best of luck, Miss Reed. I hope it turns up something worthwhile.
I hope so too. Are there others?
There are always killings in London. They are different, yes, but murder is never entirely unique.
He's being careful again. A simple raise of the eyebrow ought to convey my curiosity.
The matter at hand is grim enough without adding unnecessary details from unrelated cases, though I can address it if you'd like.
Additional details of other killings may help clarify the murders at hand.
Very well. I do not wish to muddy the waters, but I do know of additional recent examples which point to serial killings of an entirely different sort.
How atrocious.
For instance, there are reports from America of a series of similar deaths in Chicago. The local medical schools have had a curious influx of young, healthy women, all of whom died tragically by asphyxiation.
Or strangulation, then?
They were not strangled. Either Chicago is experiencing a scourge of leaky pipes in the homes of genteel young ladies, or someone has perfected the art of luring women into gas chambers.
Ghastly, but as Eve said, it doesn't help much with the case at hand.
Additionally, there have also been kidnappings as of late.
Kidnappings?
Children in the care of the Sacred Heart Orphanage, for example. Suffice to say, our patrons have taken an interest in that particular mystery as well. But now you needn't be concerned with such things.
Our patrons, indeed. Hard not to be at least a titch concerned, but I take his point, one problem at a time. What can you tell me about Hannah Lind, last month's victim?
You are familiar with her?
She used to work for the Rose. Myself and the other girls here remember her well enough.
C'est bien. I'm sure that will be helpful as we build our case.
Indeed.
Well, Hannah Lind, just as the others were, had been badly brutalized. Her body was a mess and several of her organs were not present among the viscera.
Just the same as the census slaughter that occurred last night.
Can you tell me what Hannah's time at the Velvet Rose was like?
Well, I was not particularly close to Miss Lind, but I recall her employment here ending perhaps 2 years ago.
Were the circumstances of the deceased's departure amicable?
Well, as far as I'm aware, she relocated to the South Bank and the Thames. It was Madame Zora who suggested a more local brothel. She moved as planned and was thereafter employed with them. There were no hard feelings to speak of.
I'd heard much the same already, but thank you for sharing your perspective, Miss Reed.
Always a pleasure to help. Anything else I should know?
I'm afraid that is all I know of the other victims.
Well, thank you for the information. As you said, I think it best that we follow up on these leads for the time being.
Of course, Miss Reed. Best of luck. Okay, we've still got... Well, we've got a few steps here. So we've got the curio shop about the watch. We've got to go to the apothecary and speak to Gordon Gray again, and then Molly at the tavern. Okay, but you know what? I think I'll just come down this little flight of stairs, and I say that's probably a good place to leave it for now. When we come back, we'll properly dig into the investigation. We've kind of been nibbling at the edges until now, haven't we? But now we're sort of fully in the thick of trying to solve what's happened. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you could hit the thumbs up button, that'd be fantastic. As with leaving me a comment, let me know what you think about the game and any thoughts on who could be the perpetrator. If detective games have taught me anything, and detective shows on TV, it's that we probably have met them already. It's probably someone we know. But let me know if you have any thoughts on that. I'd be interested to hear. And if you're watching this and haven't already subscribed to the channel, it'd be amazing if you could do so. So thanks very much, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.